We're good to go, Caroline?
Yep, good to go.
Okay, welcome to this online open event for the Professional Golf Studies at Elmwood campus. My name's Gary Anderson. I'm the programme leader for the Professional Golf programmes. So I'm responsible for the timetabling and the quality assurance on the programme, but also deliver quite a bit across all three programmes. Tonight, we're just going to talk through what we offer and where we offer it from, and then talk about our student journey, what our students experience while they're here, and where they go on to once they leave here. And at that, we're looking at either employment, further or higher study, or potentially over to the US on a college golf pathway. And we'll give you an insight into just what it's like to be a student if you choose to study professional golf at SRUC Elmwood. So for those that don't know us, our Elmwood campus is based in Cooper, which is about just 11-12 miles along the road from St Andrews. It's in the heart of northeast Fife. So we're in the sort of mecca for golf, links golf in particular, with St Andrews, obviously, Kingsbarns, Dumbarnie, and a number of coastal courses, so good links courses in Fife, and then across the Tay Bridge, we've obviously got Carnoustie just up the road as well. At Elmwood, we have our own golf course, so this is our campus, our real teaching environment, if you like. We have an 18-hole golf course, 2 putting greens, 6 indoor bays, and we have an indoor analysis room with flight scope launch monitor for swing analysis and so on. And then we have large outdoor grass bays, so large tees for practicing off, because we like our golfers to be hitting off grass wherever possible. And then we have a dedicated short game area with 3 greens and bunkers. So we spend a lot of time in the short game area with our students. And that's about a couple of miles from the campus. So we use it as usually as our practical classroom. We do shuttle services between our main campus up to the golf course. Our students could take their own car. The courses that we offer in professional golf then are the certificate at national level 5, our HNC, which is at level 7, so that's equivalent to first year at university, and then we offer an HND, which is at level 8. So the HND is a 2-year course. The first year of a HND is the HNC, so the Higher National Certificate. Successful completion of that leads into 1 more year to get your Higher National Diploma. And if you're successful in that, then that leaves the pathway to go to some universities directly into 3rd year entry if you're doing a similar type of course, which is generally the sports studies or sports coaching at, say, UWS or Napier or Abertay. So our certificate programme is typically aimed at school leavers that have maybe decided not to stay on and do hires, or someone that's left school early and maybe had a career in something completely different and now looking to retrain. So it's about developing the wider understanding and competencies and knowledge and skills to give you that broad base of where potential employment routes are, and to get you back into the academic swing or prepare you academically for making that jump up to the equivalent of first year at university. So we're looking for national 4s or 5s, and desirable to have a single figure handicap, but not essential. As long as you're working away on your golf, that's enough. Our HNC, HND is aimed at those that have left school with hires or have maybe got a bit more life experience or transferable experience. So we're looking for 2 hires at C or above, or a national certificate in a relevant subject. So that would either be coming through our own professional golf route or, say, an NC in sport and fitness at another college. It's great if you've got a single figure handicap, or at least be working towards that. There are coaching elements, a strong coaching emphasis on the HNC, HND. So being able to demonstrate shots is obviously quite important. So what's it like being a student athlete at Elmwood? So what's a typical week look like? And so for us, it's a combination of classes and practical golf. So some of that practical golf is embedded into your programme of study, and some of it is additional and it's in your own time, but still sometimes tutor-led. So just to give you a bit of a flavour, we work in 3 teaching blocks, so usually about 10 to 11 weeks long. This is an example of the timetable from the certificate programme. So you can see on a Monday morning and a Friday afternoon, the timetable is directed or self-learning or own golf practice. The reason that we've got that on a Monday morning and Friday afternoons is for students that are coming up and staying on campus, staying in our halls of residence. It gives them the opportunity to travel up in the morning or leave in the Friday afternoon. The Monday afternoon, we run a high performance golf program or group training, and that's led by one of our PGA accredited tutors. Then on the Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, that is dedicated to the course work, so studies on units that directly lead towards the certificate in professional golf. And then the Friday morning is the high performance training again, or group training. So that's for every student, no matter what their handicap, no what their level of experience. And the idea is once we've got you working as a group, we then put you into subgroups and try and match you and then try and push your golf performance on no matter what level you're at. You get a flavour of what we do on the certificate through some of the module titles on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday timetable there. So there's a bit of sports science, there's a bit of performance golf, there's a bit of individual analysis, there's a bit of introduction to the game of golf, so the wider golf industry, and then there's a bit of coaching there. And these sort of themes, sports science, wider golf industry, performance and coaching, run right through all three blocks. The HNC programme is exactly the same in terms of its structure. The coursework is condensed into the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with it being bookended by the high performance or group training on the Mondays and the Fridays. And again, it's not compulsory to take part in the Monday training or the Friday training. We encourage every student to do it, but it's not actually part of your HNC qualification. So if you want to spend more time studying or anything like that, then that option's there for you as well. And again, you can see from some of the course or module titles there, we've got golf coaching and introduction and intermediate skills, principles and practices selling, principles and practices of fitness training and golf operations. So the themes on the HNC and HND are again sports science, golf coaching, and then it's that wider golf industry, which includes the examples there, selling, marketing, but we've also got golf operations, course management, and so on. And then again, with the HND, the week is structured exactly the same. You'll see that the courses there are sports mechanics, psychology of performance, sports development and research, improving coaching and advanced performance skills. So again, it's these three themes of sports science, golf coaching and the wider golf industry. The sports development and research is really focused to bridge the gap between going from an HND onto university to do your third year, or perhaps going up to Stirling or UHI, which maybe will take you into second year rather than third year. But as you move towards university, that understanding how to look at academic papers and link that into your assignments and so on becomes more and more important. So we're preparing you for making that jump from your HND directly into your third year of a degree programme. The way that we deliver, so we use equipment tech as an example. This is an HNC module, so there's a bit of theory in behind why golf clubs are designed in a particular way, and we do a bit of looking at the swing planes and how the club head comes towards the ball and what the implications for ball flight are. But in terms of constructions of golf clubs, we get our hands dirty, get the gloves on, and actually, we learn in a practical context. And that, I guess, is the ethos of coming to a college rather than straight to university. You get the theory that underpins practical application, and you get a chance to put that theory into practice. And that's true across all the modules that we do, whether it's fitness and conditioning, looking at strength training, whether it's coaching science and looking at how you put coaching science or theory into practice working with children or beginners or adults. Look at other subjects like in sports science and nutrition and so on. So we look at that as part of the delivery across the programmes, but also for your own benefit as a golfer. What do you do to be well fueled for taking part in golf and training and so on? So we'll look at that, and again, it's taking the theory and putting it into practical application. Same with the strength and conditioning. We look at the sports science, we look at what goes on with case studies and what's the benefits of strength and conditioning, and then we're taking that theory and taking it into the gym and getting you to train and to work hard in the gym just like a professional would, and also understand the planning behind it. How would you structure sessions? How would you put a training program together? So looking at that in the classroom and then taking it in to the practical application in the gym. So our progression routes are choosing to study at Elmwood, working through the certificate, the HNC, and hopefully onto been a successful HND student. And then from there, your options are to look at either employment or to further higher study. So at the moment, a number of our students are choosing to go to University of Aberdeen because they get direct entry into third year of their sports coaching degrees. So they do one more year, they've got a degree. A year after that, they've got their honours. Or you could go to UHI and look at the the PGA accredited professional golf degree. Typically get in at year 2. UHI prefer to take students into second year rather than third year. But a vast number of our ex-students have went on to take on PGA training. So they apply for work and get offered PGA training positions and then start their PGA training. So that's where, like I say, a significant number of our former students are now operating or where they are. Combined with that, we've got some students that really want to build on their performance in golf, their own playing of the game. So they will look at options to potentially go to America on a scholarship. So my colleague Fraser Hutchison runs the US Collegiate Golf program, so collegiategolfusa.com, and he has helped numerous students over the years articulate from us into an academic pathway at an American college, but on a scholarship because of their golf performance. So there's options to look at that as well if you're a typically competitive golfer. And then finally, we've got the sort of wider industry employment. So some of our guys are interested in the retail side, the retail sector, or employment in terms of golf operations or even golf management. And here at SRUC, we're putting in proposals. We're awaiting degree awarding powers, and as soon as we get that this year, hopefully, we're going to start working towards developing our own BA in professional golf studies at SRUC. So I mentioned just where our past students have went. I won't read out the list, but you could see some big names there, so familiar, well-known global names. So a lot of our students have worked in smaller golf clubs to begin with, and then taken on more senior positions at these sort of courses across the country, but also overseas as well. And then we've got past students now working with the likes of the RNA, the Links Trust, but also in different avenues. We've got TCMM Golf is actually a golf app. So we've got ex-students who've went into that digital media side of things and developed a golf app. And we've got events managers and so on across the world as well. Just to put some faces and names to where they are. So we've got Tom Ogilvie, did end up at the Dukes, which isn't far from here, but now out in Dubai at the Pete Cowan Academy. Katie Reid is at the RNA. Fraser Hughes is now at Scots Craig and Drummoy Golf Centre, which again is very local to us. And Kieran Moore, who left us not that long ago, is now a golf operations supervisor at the new Dumbarton Links. I say new, it's 2 or 3 years old now, but it's another high-end golf links course similar to Kingsbarns in its structure and its operations. So Stuart Waters is a former student of ours. He's now a fully qualified PGA Pro based at Dumbarton Links, which is just outside Lower Largo down on the Fife Coast here. Like I said, it's a high-end golf resort. You can see the sculptured dunes, and it draws in obviously a lot of tourists from all over the world, paying over £200 a round. So that's where Stuart's plying his trade. I mentioned collegiate golf. There's a couple of examples on the right there of Jamie and Andrew Nee and Megan on the left. These are former students who were, really good competitive golfers and wanted to have the chance to go and improve their golf by taking up a scholarship to America. So I think they all went out on a full scholarship, so they had no tuition fees to pay. And that's obviously dependent on how they perform over the year. So as long as they keep having a good golfing year, the coach is happy to pay for them to be at that college. This is a former student. Hopefully this little video will work and you could hear from him directly.
Fraser Hughes. I'm currently a student athlete at Colorado State University, Pueblo. I went to Douglas Stewart High School down in Newton Stewart, and ever since then I went to play collegiate golf in the USA. From there I got in touch with Fraser and Lyon from Collegiate Golf USA, and they managed to get me in touch with coaches all over the States and managed to make my dream a reality. I went to Elmwood for 1 year, graduated there with a HNC, and from there I went to New Mexico Junior College to continue my studies, and after that I've transferred here to Colorado State University.
So that's Fraser, and he's, like I say, he's now working local to us up at Drummoy Golf Centre. This is Lorna. Lorna McClymont was an HNC student with us a few years back. She was a really talented golfer, or is a really talented golfer. Her option was to go to Stirling because they've got a strong golf programme there. So she went on to study a degree in sports studies. But while she was here, they held the RNA Scholars Championship at actually St Andrews Old Course, and she won it. So it's a great place to play and win the RNA Scholars event. So the RNA Scholars or scholarship is funding that's available to the more talented golfers, and you could apply it, and you have to be a student, but you could apply and access additional funding to help you with travel and entry to competitions, and perhaps towards coaching and so on as well. So while you're a student, there's options to apply for that RNA scholarship. And then more locally, just to give you a flavour of the other things we look at, Kingarrick Hickory Golf Course is just on the outskirts of Cooper. So we take a visit there when we're doing the history of golf, and again, taking the theory out into the classroom in the real world and learning about it, and looking at the clubs that people used to play, the way the course was laid out, and the balls, the old feathery balls that they used to play with. The Dunhill comes to us, or very close to us, just along the road at St Andrews, every sort of October time. So again, we take the opportunity to take our students along. We really encourage them to volunteer and get involved. So every year we have students go and they marshal at the events, either at Carnoustie, Kingsbarns, or at the Old Course over the days, and we when possible tie in with the organisers and try and get a student talk so they could get an insight into how everything that goes on in organising such a big event. And then we've got a couple of partnerships locally as well. So I've mentioned Kingsbarns a couple of times. You'll know it's a very high-end resort, just very much in the east tip of Fife. Again, it's well over £200 a round. It's got a number of our ex-students now working in golf operations. And every year we make a partnership with the caddy master there, and we take our students along to be trained and interviewed and then trained to become caddies. So a significant number of students every year seek employment as caddying, and that starts round about Easter and runs right through till about October. So they finish off their studies with us, collecting the odd day here and there or weekends, and then once they finish with us, they work through the summer, and they typically, I think that's now about £70 a bag is the going rate plus tips. So it's very common to make £100 a bag every time you caddy around Kingsbarns. And we've now got the same relationship with Dumbarnie Links, which is the other high-end golf resort just towards the south of Fife, or northeast, south and northeast Fife. And it's the same relationship. We introduce our students to the caddy master. There's a bit of a selection process, and then they could spend the summer earning really good money through caddying. But like I say, a number of our students have now graduated into the golf operations and the business as well. And then just to get towards the end of this presentation, just to talk about additional things that we do, we enter ICT events, so intercollegiate tour events, so British schools and colleges. We play in a league quite often with, it used to be Loretto College, now it's more with Durham College down just south of Newcastle, and then they have national finals every year. So the picture on the top left is us actually way down in Cornwall, I think, at the national final. So we compete in these events on a fairly regular basis. We run an order of merit, which usually, it's maybe not every week, but every other week we run an order of merit event to help select our team, but that's also a competition that runs throughout the year. And we also get involved in BUCS events, so that on an individual basis we signpost students to individual BUCS competitions. And BUCS competitions are British universities and colleges sport events. So again, these are national. It's all the universities in Scotland compete in these, so you could enter as an individual and play in these big competitions as well. And then just to finish off, here's a wee promo video. And while this is playing, please, if you've got any questions, put them into the chat, and Caroline will just filter them for us.
Whether it's to be a player or a coach, then this is definitely the place to come. We've got putting greens, we've got chipping areas, and we've got two ranges, and we've got an 18-hole golf course, so it's absolutely perfect.
The golf course, of course, is owned by the college, so it's a unique opportunity for students to have access to a facility like this.
Sometimes students think they have to be a fantastic golfer to come, and they don't. You know, they can develop their game while they're here with us for over a number of years. If you're qualified and you can work at a golf facility in Scotland, that will actually hold a bit more kudos on your CV because of Scotland's title as the home of golf, or especially Fife. Candidates who look to travel abroad will probably, or definitely looked upon more favourably.
They've got like one of the best short games. The driving range is good. It's quite handy because it's so close to the campus as well.
If you are a good enough player, then you can apply for a bursary with the R&A, and that can contribute towards your expenses for playing tournament golf and equipment and coaching. It also gives you access to their bursars tournaments.
In my country, Slovakia, we don't have anything like golf study, so that's why I chose to come here into Scotland, into the home of golf.
You can graduate from our programs into second, third year of university. The golf industry is a pretty exciting place to work in terms of career opportunities, worldwide travel.
I'm a keen golfer and I wanted to just see how far I can take it.
That should give you a flavour of what it's like to be a student here. I'll open it up if there's any questions, Caroline.
Yeah, we've had a few coming through, so thanks very much if you've got in touch this evening. The first one I've got here is asking, how is the certificate assessed?
So the certificate programme, all our courses are continual assessments. So the individual modules that we deliver typically have anything between 2, 3 or 4 assessment outcomes. Some of them we could combine, but typically there's usually maybe at the certificate level it's restricted or short response questions, or it might be a short expanded or extended response that you might need to do, or it might be a practical application of your knowledge. So for example, you might have to deliver a coaching session, so there's a bit of planning, delivery and evaluation, and that's true across all our programmes that we have these. As you work through towards HNC and HND, the assessments become bigger and bigger, and as you would imagine, you know, first and second year at university it becomes more extended responses, and then your HND would be looking at essays and a bit of referencing and so on, just as you would imagine.
That's great. Next question I have is, what size are the classes?
So it varies year on year. It just depends how many apply. We typically would like to be in the sort of mid-teens for each group. Sometimes it's a wee bit lower, sometimes it's a wee bit higher. If the classes get too big, then we split for practical. So we come together for theory, but we split for practical, so we could get that quality of practical sort of learning and assessment done. But typically we're in the sort of the teens rather than the 20s or 30s.
The next question I have is, when will I hear if I have an offer? So the HNC and HND is through through UCAS. So the UCAS application process is external to SRUC, and they usually take in applications, then that gets past their central admissions, and at some point they pass it to us. But the decisions are usually made external from us based on your results. So you either get an offer with a condition, or if you get an unconditional, that pretty much means you've got a place. For the certificate programme, you apply directly to us, and we then could look at the application form, maybe invite you in for a chat if we need to, and then you just get an email coming back relatively quickly to say the type of offer that you've got. Again, if you're pending results from school, it might be a conditional offer, or if you've got the entry requirements, then you potentially get an unconditional offer right away. Thanks, Gary. The next question is, you mentioned the Dunhill. Would you recommend volunteering before starting the course? You could register to volunteer, yes. One of the issues we do have is that once you've signed up with us, we do try and make contact with you over the summer and email out just some general information just to keep connected with you about the course start date and so on. And one of the things we do encourage you to do is to at the earliest opportunity get in touch with the Dunhill and register your interest for volunteering, because if you leave it
until the course starts in September, sometimes there's not many opportunities left. So yes, if you are thinking of doing it, then definitely the earlier you apply, the more likely you'll get to do the volunteering job that you would like to do.
And that maybe leads on to another question. It's when, when do applications open up? So applications are always open. The UCAS system has a deadline date in January, which is passed, but don't worry about that. It gets reopened. That's an initial deadline just to get it, because in some programs at some universities, you'll appreciate that they're very oversubscribed. So they have that deadline to allow universities to filter through it and sift through it. But that system then opens up again, and you could apply right throughout the year. And if you're having difficulty accessing UCAS, then you could get in touch with us, and we could get a colleague to make contact with you to help you through the application process. That's great. Another question is, as a student, how often can we access the college golf course?
So as soon as you become a student with us, you become a member of Elmwood Golf Course. It's not a club in so much as there's a membership. There's 2 societies based at the golf course, so you are free to join one of the societies, or you could simply be a student golfer member, which means you have your student card allows you access to the golf course as often as you would like. So you just book in any way that you book with any other golf course. You get in touch, say you'd like a tee time, tell them that you're a student. When you turn up, you just show them your student card for the first few times, then after that they'll just recognise you. So you could access the course as often as you like out with the class time, and you could access the range and so on as well. And there's a discounted rate on balls as well if you're using the driving range. And then if you want to use our flight scope and do a bit of analysis, and the flight scope has a golf simulator as part of it as well, so we could make arrangements for that as well. And that's what we typically do on the Monday afternoons and Fridays, set students up with how to work that and how to get the simulator going through the winter and so on.
Thanks, Gary. Another question I've had is, what opportunities would this course give me that another university, sports and science, might not?
So this is obviously very focused on golf. So if you do sports science at another college or university, it's a similar sort of pathway. But if you're looking for a career in golf, then obviously you're going to have a much more golf specific training. We look at wider golf operations, look at event management in golf. Everything's contextualised around golf. So if it's specifically golf that you're looking to get involved in that industry, then this would be more beneficial than just, say, a general sports science degree.
Okay, and another question is, I live in Carnoustie and the venue is quite far. Would I have to pay for my fees, or would it be paid for me?
So your fees for studying, if you're a Scottish resident, tuition fees are free. You get 4 years of higher education funding. If you're applying for the certificate, you'll get a student bursary, or you should get a student bursary. If you're talking about travel fees, again, that you would have to pay initially, but then you would be able to access additional funding to help with travel. Carnoustie, although it's the other side of the bridge, we have got a couple of students that have come from Carnoustie and they've either just jumped on the train or they just drive over, because coming this way it's not that far away really if you're able to drive, or you may have to be a wee bit more organised if you're getting the buses. But Cooper is on the main bus route from Dundee, so you'd probably have to get a bus into Dundee bus station and then change.
Thanks, Gary. That's all my questions that I have here. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we close?
So you can see some contact emails on the screen there, so you can take a note of them and drop me an email if you like. We are running later in the year some actual on-site applicant days, so if you want to come in and speak with us directly and have a walk around the golf course or the campus and have a look at the halls of residence and meet staff, then look out for them. If you get in touch with Caroline, just email your interest or email me. We could link you into those dates as they come up. And if those don't suit, we can do bespoke sort of visits if you're passing through the area and there's a member of staff available. We could arrange for like a quick visit and a quick talk if that would suit better as well.
Oh, I've just had another couple questions in. One I think you've already answered, which was when our applications open, and they're open at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
And another one is I am doing, I think it's a level 3 C-Tech sports course at the moment. What course would be best for me to join?
So is that a level 3 B-Tech maybe?
It says C-Tech, but maybe it is a B-Tech.
So that's a good level of understanding. So if you've got any other qualifications to go with that, my advice would be just to drop me an email so we could get a better understanding of your background and your level of golf. And then we could help you make the right decision about what course that you want to go on. But generally, my advice is if you're in a rush and you've got the qualifications to get an HNC, then you're probably encouraged to do that. But if you want to take a bit of time to develop as a bit of a player as well, because the focus on the HNC is more towards developing you as a teaching professional, so it's more emphasis on you becoming an efficient and proficient coach. The certificate allows you a bit more freedom to develop yourself as a player. We spend a bit more time with the modules looking at your own performance and how to develop your own performance, as well as introduce you to coaching. But if you've already got some experience of coaching and so on, then it maybe feels like you're repeating a bit. So it'd be good to have a sort of individual chat and just see exactly what course would be best.
That's great, thanks Gary. What I might do then is with the follow-up email, I'll include, I know you've put your contact details up there as well, but maybe put some information about our support team as well. That covers everything from sort of study support to help with funding and things like that. So we'll get that out to you as well. So if there's anything you want to follow up, and obviously a link to the accommodation manager as well, in case anybody's considering accommodation while they're here too. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, and yeah, hopefully you'll be in touch soon.